Hello, all. Two of the students have posted some great, comments on the discussion board, which I like to talk about them. One of the students is saying that since S&P 500 lacks focus on individual stocks, what is the best way to research individual stocks prior to investing? My recommendation is that if you want to invest in S&P 500, you do not need to do any research about individual stocks because your money is not being invested in any individual stocks. Stock means that your money is being invested in 500 different stocks. If you want to research regarding 500 different stocks, which we know what they are, you can do that, no problem at all. You can go and we give you the names of those 500 stocks, and you can do it. Let me assure you, Apple is there, Amazon is there, Tesla, Coca-Cola, Walmart, whatever you want to think of, these big companies are all there. Therefore, when you are investing in S&P 500, you do not want necessarily to do a research about individual stocks. However, if you want to invest in individual stocks, yes, you have to spend some time to understand them, or at least go with the advice of very professional people. Many people come to you and tell you, oh, invest on this stock, invest on that stock. You shouldn't listen to them because there are many people who are not familiar. They just give comments. Therefore, one of the safest ways to invest, my advice to every student who is not familiar to analyze stocks, is to invest in S&P 500. Means you are putting your $500 in 500 different stocks. That's one way to look at it. That means you are putting $1 in Amazon, although it's not exactly $1, but this is for simplicity, I say. When you invest $500 in S&P 500, $1 goes to Amazon, $1 to Walmart, $1 to. Therefore, you do not need to do extensive research for that $1 that you are putting. However, you may you may want to know what it means, S&P 500. Here it is. Another student has asked a question regarding S&P that answers to this question. First question is that what stock is the best way to start investing in stocks for high return of possible? Therefore, this is a good question for ChatGPT. ChatGPT is telling you first you have to understand the market and see what's going on. One of the things ChatGPT is telling you, and every professional investor is telling you, be aware of the diversification. You need to diversify. By diversifying means you spread your money in different stocks. That's why we say S&P is a good strategy, because it divides your money between 500 stocks. If one of the 500 companies goes bankrupt, you lose only $1. Who cares? The other companies are going to go up, and your $500 can become $550, even if one of the companies or two of them fail. Therefore, that diversification plays an important role in investment. You do not want to put all of your money, all of your eggs in one basket. That way the company goes down. Sometimes the company might not go bankrupt. The stocks drop for 2-3 years. They stay below of what you bought. It gets into your net because you have put $500, suppose, in one stock. And then that has gone down. You want to see it's coming back up. It doesn't come back up. It stays at 300 level. You see everybody is making money, and you get upset. Therefore, it is research, an analysis. If you want to do some research, we have not talked about these ratios. PE. This is a very important ratio. That is closing price divided by earning. Earnings means earning per share. And then closing price is that, suppose price of Apple is around, let's say, $200 now. And the earning of Apple per share, that means if you own one share of Apple, maybe you make, let's say, $1. Therefore, you divide 200 by $1, or let's say $4. You divide $200 by $4. That gives you 50. That means it has a PE of 50. Therefore, the more the price goes up and the earning doesn't go up, that can be the PE can go up. We will discuss it. We are offering, we are offering business finance next semester. We get through these ratios and return on asset. That you want to have a high return. Therefore, these are the issues. If you want, you may put this in Chat GPT. I don't want to talk about these in significant details in this, discussion, as we are going to talk about this in future courses. Another thing is telling you to invest in ETFs. Do you see ChatGPT is even telling you put in S&P 500? You might say, where do I find that? When you have an open, a storage, a brokerage account, that brokerage account says that if you want to invest your money to, in S&P 500, go ahead and buy $500 of this SPY. The SPY is just they call it ETF, exchange traded fund. It is just like one stock that puts everything in 50 different stocks. You have heard of mutual funds, and ETF, exchange traded funds, are very similar. Therefore, you go and once you open an account, you say you want to invest, put $500 of this. When you buy $500 of SPY, your $500 gets distributed between 500 stocks. If you want to put, you don't need necessarily to put 500, you can put $100 or $50. If you put $50, then your $50, around, 10 cents, 50 cents, 10 cents will be distributed, in each stock you are investing 10 cents. That's why you have put $50, you have purchased $50 of SPY. Therefore, that is an easy way for those of you who do not understand the stocks and you are worried about because you do not know. The people who invest in S&P mainly are the people who say that they don't know how to invest. They are worried. They don't want suddenly to lose their money. They are scared that the company might go down. Therefore, that is a safe way to get started. And long-term perspective, we have to see what are your long-term goals. And you should understand the risk, particularly if you are investing in individual stocks. Therefore, what is your risk tolerance? My question, you might put your money in S&P at $500 and next year it becomes $400. Is it going to get to your nerve? Are you going to be scared? Are you going to sell, your $400 and lose $100? Smart people don't do it. They keep the money because hopefully next year will come back to 500, goes to 600, 700. Therefore, you have to have more like a long-term perspective if you want to make a stock, consult with a financial advisor. This is something, if you have a financial advisor, they are going to charge you some money. And I know many of you can't go and afford buying, a lot of stocks. Therefore, one of the easy ways, for you is to get started. If you want to advise some people, it might be a good idea. You are business students. People might come to you and ask you. Some of you are accounting students. One of the safest ways to invest is, my advice to you, start with S&P, because you are not buying one stock, you are buying 500 stocks, which is very smart. And then strengths and starting with specific stocks. Now, some people like to have individual stocks. Some people say, go and buy blue chips. Blue chips are big companies like Apple. Suppose many people made a lot of money on Apple. In the past 5-10 years, it has 10 times it went in. That means the Apple stock that now is $200. If 10 years ago, if you want to do a research, go to ChatGPT and say, if I had put $100 in Apple 10 years ago, how much money would I have? You will be impressed that your $10 might have turned into 120, or your 1,000 to 12,000 or 15,000. That's a lot of growth. Again, Microsoft has been a great stock. Amazon has been great. Google has been great. Also, you see Google. That's one version of Google. Another version of it doesn't have L at the end. They say Google. That's more popular, but the prices are the same. And then again, the dividend stocks are stocks that usually don't go up, but they give you more interest, more dividends. Think about dividends as the interest that they give you. Some people, let's say retired people, are not interested about growth stocks because growth stocks, as they go up quickly, they might drop also. Retired people usually like the stocks that are more settled and, are good. I don't know, some of you have heard of it or not. They are talking Coca-Cola stocks dropped a few days ago by maybe 5% or something because of E. coli or something in some of their hamburgers, and these are temporary. They said there were some onions in there. The people got worried. If you had put $100 in Coca-Cola stocks, your $100 would have dropped by now to 95. Nothing to be scared. It comes back up. But good thing about Coca-Cola, it gives you good interest. Some companies like Apple, like Amazon, might not give you any interest. Why? Because whatever money they make, they reinvest it in the company. But companies like Procter and Gamble, when they make money, rather than reinvesting in the company, they distribute it between the stockholders that you are one of them. Let's say if you have $100 worth of, stocks of this, and they have, let's say, the payout ratio of 1%, that means that every year they might give you $1, which is more like an interest. Some people, some investors are more interested on interest. Some are interested, they don't care about interest. They are thinking about long-term growth. They will go and buy these stocks. These are solid stocks. Therefore, these are something we want you to, have in mind. And here is a very good question. That is, if I put $50, how much I would have for in 1 year. It all depends on those 500 stocks, because we said that this $50, around 10 cents of it goes to each one of those 500 stocks. In 1 year, on average, it is supposed to go up by 10%. 10% of $50 is $10. Means if you invest $50 today, your hope is that if that goes with that rate, your hope is to have 550 next year. I'm sorry, $55. That means 10% of $50 is $5. $5 and $50 is $55. Now, sometimes the stocks go down, which means your $50 might, by next year, it might drop to 45. But in long term, it comes back up to 50. At least it has happened in the past many, many years. It comes back to 50 and then goes to 51, 2, 3. And suddenly after 10 years, you see that your money, your $50 is $130. Therefore, as you see it here, ChatGPT is going to tell you that, do you see here it says has an average return of around 10%. Some of you are telling me you put in CD and get 2% or 3%. If you want to invest in stocks, go ahead and buy S&P, buy, an S&P 500, index, which one of them is called SPY, and sometimes it gets 20%. In 1 year it might gain S&P. Therefore, why should you put your money in the bank? Why not to put it in S&P? But if you want to buy these S&P, indices, my recommendation is that you have to be prepared to leave your money at least for 3-4 years, because during first year, if you put $500, suddenly by the end, if it is not a good year for the stocks, your $500 might become $450. Why do you want to sell it next year? You have to have patience. If you wait after 2-3 years, your 500 suddenly becomes 650. If you had put that 500 in the bank, after 2 years, it would be $530. Why not to turn it into 650? Therefore, these are, here it is. You can ask ChatGPT. Go to ChatGPT and say, hello, ChatGPT, I want to buy, invest. Here you go. Let me go and see if I can. Let me see if I can. Here you go. Hello, ChatGPT. And here it is. I click here, and this is ChatGPT. Oops, the connection is disconnected. Oh my God.